Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you're watching from today. You might notice the facial hair is a little bit longer than usual. I'm letting it grow out. Let me know what you think. I think it might be time to start rocking a bit more of, a more robust facial hair, if you will. But we have a very important topic to talk about today, and that is President Donald Trump issuing a very violent threat to the Iranians amid negotiations over a deal to make sure the Iranians never get a nuke. Those negotiations and discussions are ongoing. And we're going to talk about the threat, what comes next in the negotiations, can a peace deal be reached? We're going to discuss all that and much more. As always, please make sure to like and subscribe, comment with your thoughts, hit the bell up there so you always know when there's a new video. You don't miss any of the news updates. And now let's roll into it. As viewers of the channel know, the United States and Iran have been going back and forth for months. We have Steve Witkoff, who's one of the top negotiators. He's one of Trump's guys. He's kind of speaking on behalf of the United States as well as some other people as well. And we are trying to reach a deal with the Iranian government to make sure that they are not able to get nuclear weapons and that their nuclear program, which is a civilian program that has not been weaponized at this time, cannot ever produce a bomb, cannot produce a nuclear bomb, which would be a terrible thing, not just for Iran and because we would, have to strike, but for the region as well, because it would kick off a huge arms race, as we've discussed at length. The president has been quite clear that he maintains a diplomatic solution is what he wants. He wants to see a peace deal happen, but if a peace deal cannot happen and Iran gets close to a bomb, then the United States will actually then use our great military, the greatest military in the world, to strike. And he pretty much made his stance crystal clear with some new comments that included a vicious threat to the Iranian regime about how this is going to play out if Iran does not want to play ball. Let's go ahead right now and roll Trump's comments, and then we'll get into it.
It's very simple. And I'd much rather make a deal, a really verified deal. We want total verification. We can do that. We have some very brilliant people up at MIT and various other places. We can do that very, very solidly. But I would much prefer a strong verified deal where we actually blow them up, but blow them up or just de-nuke them. But there are only two alternatives there: blow them up nicely or blow them up viciously.
So there you had President Donald Trump telling Hugh Hewitt that the Iranian nuclear program can either go away peacefully or it can go away viciously, as he says. And those are the only two options as he sees it. Although the United States, it's important to note, has been quite clear that a civilian nuclear program is something that could be tolerated with proper inspections, with checks and balances to make sure that it's not weaponized. But obviously, if the Iranians go for a bomb, the United States will take, according to Trump's words, the very vicious route. And we all know how that ends. That ends with American bombers flying over Iranian airspace, delivering 30,000-pound bunker busters on underground facilities. But what about the diplomatic solution? Where are we at on the diplomatic solution to reach an outcome that avoids a military conflict? So I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you all right now. This comes from Reuters. It is essentially where talks are at. It says a fourth round of nuclear talks between Iran and the United States is likely to take place over the weekend in the capital of Oman, with Iranian state media pointing to May 11 as a probable date. Iran's Noor news outlet was the first to report the resumption of Iran-U.S. nuclear talks for Sunday, citing an unnamed official. Cautioning that the timing was not yet finalized, an Iranian source close to the negotiating team told Reuters the talks will take place over 2 days in Muscat, either on Saturday and Sunday or Sunday and Monday. Initially scheduled for May 3rd in Rome, the fourth round of negotiations was postponed with mediator Oman citing logistical reasons. Top U.S. negotiator Steve Witkoff, who we've talked about, also said Washington was trying to hold the next round of talks this weekend, according to the news site Axios, a day after Iran's foreign minister reiterated Tehran's commitment to diplomacy with Washington. This is a little interesting. Separately, President Vladimir Putin of Russia on Tuesday discussed the progress in talks between Iran and the United States with Iranian President Mossad Pezeshkian, the Kremlin said. I probably butchered that guy's last name. Putin said Russia was ready to facilitate dialogue between Iran and the U.S. to reach a fair agreement. So that is where we stand currently on attempts to reach a peaceful resolution. But as we've talked about, if a peaceful resolution fails, where are we at? Well, it turns out the United States, kind of secretly, without many people noticing, has loaded up even more military assets in the region in case a strike is conducted. And this really flew under the radar. No one's really talking about it. We're going to talk about it right now. The moves that the military is taking. Let's get into it. So while the talks are progressing and while it appears there is a possible diplomatic solution to be had, the military is also taking significant steps in loading up gear and weapons in the region to possibly strike Iran if we have to. I'll go ahead and throw this up on the screen for you. This comes from Oznet Defender. Great Twitter account, covers foreign policy, conflicts around the world. Very trustworthy account. It's got a picture of Diego Garcia where you can see some planes, some bombers, and it says it's nearly a full house today at Naval Support Facility Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia, of course, is what we refer to as the unsinkable aircraft carrier. It's an island in the Pacific Ocean outside of Iran's striking range. In the Indian Ocean with satellite imagery captured by MT Anderson showing 6 B-2A Spirit long-range strategic stealth bombers, 6 KC-135 aerial refueling tankers, 2 B-52H long-range strategic bombers, and a C-5M Galaxy strategic heavy lifter on the tarmac at NSF Diego Garcia. In addition, 2 more B-52s are expected to arrive at the airbase later today, placing at least 10 long-range strategic bombers in range of both Iran and China. So we actually, I think at one point had 9 B-2 stealth bombers at Diego Garcia, and I guess we now have 6, so they must have flown some back to Missouri, which is where they're generally stationed out of. But that is still a ton of firepower. I mean, you're talking about 10 strategic bombers that would be able to go in, and that doesn't even count. That doesn't even count the fighter jets that would be there, the F-22s, the F-35s, the F-18s, which would be equipped with signal jamming and electronic jamming technology to help clear the way for the stealth bombers. So at one hand, we've got the diplomatic talks that seem to be going reasonably well. On the other hand, we've got Trump talking about how this could end very viciously, and we have the military increasing its footprint, increasing its assets in the region. So where will this likely go from here? What is the likely conclusion? Let's go ahead and talk about that right now. When it comes to what could possibly come next with the negotiations with Iran, with a potential conflict, a potential military strike, or reaching a peace deal, it's important to look at all the pieces we have in front of us. It's important to analyze all the information. And yes, while Trump is issuing these blistering threats to Iran, he is talking about how this could end viciously for them. You can't have a credible military option if the enemy doesn't believe you're going to use it, right? Essentially, at that point, it doesn't matter if you have a military or not. If the enemy thinks you're never going to use it, you don't have that credible threat. Good diplomacy in a situation like this, believe it or not, is backed up by the belief your military is capable of carrying out whatever threats have been made. So Trump, he's got to hold the line. He's got to make it clear to the Iranians, we do have the capability to wipe your facilities out. And if you don't reach a deal, that's exactly what we're going to do to you. We're going to hammer you. Now, I'm not saying if that's a good idea, bad idea. I'm not weighing in on that. I'm simply explaining the reality of why he's talking this way. Having said that, I still think all the signs are there that we will reach a peace deal with Iran. Trump hates war. Trump does not want to get involved in another Middle Eastern conflict. He's not interested at all in getting pushed around or feeling like he's pressured by people in the administration or elsewhere to do it. And furthermore, our allies in the region, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Jordan, they don't want a massive war either. And they would be targeted because there's U.S. bases across the region. They would be targeted in any potential retaliation strike. Right now, all the signs still, in my opinion, but I want let me know in the comments if you disagree or if you agree. I still think the signs all point to a peaceful resolution. I think a diplomatic solution will be reached. However, it's still an above zero chance that everything falls apart. This ends up going hot and B-2 bombers get into Iranian airspace. I'd say right now I'm at about 70% that a peace deal happens. 30% that it fails and a strike happens. But you let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen, and let me know what you think should happen. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell so you know when there's a new video. I'll catch you all next time.